Damage control for the city of Montreal when it comes to just a spate of terrible stories revolving inspections of terraces in the city. Now, the summer began, in fact, with that Grand Prix weekend story, right? Where the city inspectors ended up shutting down terraces on Grand Prix weekend. And then, of course, it was last week where we were talking about what happened in the village during Pride Week, where it's seemingly overzealous inspectors were telling the terraces in the village, hey, trim your plants, they're too high. Let's talk about how inspectors are used in the city with Alia Hassan Cournol, a city councillor for Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve and associate councillor for economic development. Madame Hassan Cournol, welcome back to the program.
Thank you for having me, and I hope your son's better.
Yes, he is feeling way better. Thank you very much for mentioning that. So, listen, let's get to this story here and the inspectors, okay? I sense some damage control happening from the mayor and city councilors on this front, and certainly a lot of people are fed up. Business owners are fed up with what they feel are overzealous inspectors. What is your take on the stories from the summer?
I mean, it wasn't okay. It was right in the week of Pride, going through local merchants when the economic activity is at its peak, and giving them trouble for the height of the plants. It wasn't okay, and it really went under our skin. So I understand that inspectors have a job to do, and there's an application of the bylaw we have at the City of Montreal. But, I mean, we want an impeccable customer service from the inspectors, and that was not one.
So why do you think we keep hearing similar stories, though? Because if it happened once, I'd be willing to give the city administration the benefit of the doubt. But now we're up to, I think now it's, and also we are hearing from merchants on Saint Denis that went through a similar scenario about a terrace that was 2 centimeters not up to code, right? So it certainly seems like this is a defining feature of how the city is run right now, right?
I wouldn't say it's a defining feature, but definitely there's something happening, and we really have to handle it ASAP. The second thing that's happening is the local merchants' reality and the local economic development reality is changing. We have seen more than 309 terraces just in Ville-Marie this year, a lot much more terraces and pedestrian streets across Montreal. So for sure, because we see this peak in the local economy, which is great, it also means that we need to change the bylaw or to adapt the bylaw to this reality. And this work hasn't been done yet, and that's why we're meeting SDC, Local Merchant Association, the director from every borough is meeting with the inspectors, because we understand that when it comes to security, we need to be on higher grounds here. But come on, we're not here to give trouble to local merchants when it's more than 95% of the economical tissue of the city of Montreal.
So, these inspectors are simply doing their job. They're enforcing the rules that are on the books, the regulations that are in the books. So should there be a revisiting of some of these regulations? For
sure. We need to revisit some of this regulation, but also there's a timing and a way of applying the regulation and the bylaw, and that we count on the goodwill of our inspectors to understand that. I was saying earlier, we need everywhere at the City of Montreal to have an A1 customer service. It implies us also for the inspectors. Yes, you're right. Point number one, we need to work on the bylaws and on the regulation. But point two, the inspectors and really anybody at the City of Montreal need to make sure the timing and the way of communicating is right.
And, Projet Montréal has been in power now for 7 years, okay? Yeah. You're no longer a new administration. Do you think any mistakes have been made that pass the message along to inspectors to just be hyper-focused on enforcement and not working with businesses?
No, we've been working with businesses, and now I have the local merchant and economic development file for a few months, and I hear it from local merchants and local merchants association that the work with the city is doing great, but it's on how we imply the regulation and how we make sure that the boroughs and the civil servants apply the regulation, that the work needs to be refined and needs to be done better. So the work we're doing with the economical tissue is going great, but really it's on how we develop new habits and new ways of doing and more flexibility with the inspectors and with the civil servants that we need to do better.
Do you think any of these inspectors, have actually been doing their job poorly and maybe should be disciplined or worse for their work?
I'm not going to say they've been doing their job poorly, but they're doing their job in the way the regulation is made right now. But there's a way of applying the regulation. There's a way of communicating. There's a timing. And when it's right in the middle of Grand Prix or right in the middle of Pride, it's not okay. And those inspectors need to be talked about on how to give good customer service. That's it.
We got to leave it there. Madame Hassan Cournol, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Elias.
Talk
to you soon.
Take care, absolutely. That's Alia Hassan Cournol, City Councillor for Mercier-Hochelaga-Maisonneuve and Associate Councillor for Economic Development.